You're live, guys.
Oh, we're live. All right. Thanks for that intro.
Wait. Oh, okay. We'll do this then. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk business and bridal shows with KC and Brian B.
All right. Thanks, John.
Was that
for
better?
that incredibly cheesy DJ introduction. Yeah, how you doing, everybody? Yeah, I'm John Young. I'm in a cabin in Minnesota. A lot of kids.
A lot of kids.
A lot of kids. Nothing to do up here, but, make a lot of kids in the winter and fish in the summer. Thanks, John. So, like John said, I'm KC, and this is Brian B. We are neither Mike Walter nor Joe Bunn. So if you're looking for them, I'd tell you to switch channels, but I don't think they're on another channel. They're just on in the mornings, right? Their show is this morning, every Thursday morning. I don't know. I'm not going to plug them, but, they're good people. You can find them. Tune into UHF on your knob TV somewhere. You'll find them. So it's been a week. Brian, how you been?
Good, man. It's been a busy week. I feel like I'm just hitting my stride as far as January goes. The first week you're always just kind of like getting over the holidays, and then you start to get going, and it just takes a little bit of time. But this week, full throttle. I'm ready to go.
Nice.
How about you?
I'm good. I'm really good. No complaints. We had a bridal show that we produced on Sunday, and had a few challenges with trucks and different things, but got her done. Apparently the lift gates don't like to go up when it's 2 degrees outside. So that was an interesting challenge. So my baby's been in the shop getting some TLC. We pick her up tomorrow for our bridal show this weekend. So
which is a great thing to say, because we're actually talking about that tonight, right? Bridal show?
Yes, we are. So, but let's talk briefly about last week. So last week we talked about goals and goal setting. And for those of you who don't know it, if you're not following Brian, you should check him out on his Facebook page. His personal page is Brian B something Italian. And post it up on the chat boards, but he, if you guys didn't read it, he did a dissertation that it's still loading. It's so long, but just like he had said last week, was that he has made his he's made his list official. So everyone in Facebook land, 2 billion people, can now officially hold him accountable. So, you can walk around DJ shows and they'll be like, that guy's not that good. He doesn't even follow his own goals. He's not even hitting his own goals.
Yeah.
So how's the week been for goals?
Pretty good, actually. So one of them was to read a book a month, and I had a couple in mind, but I was like, this is still not going to be enough for accountability. So I actually joined a book club, believe it or not. And
Okay.
And so that's going to help me because I got other people doing it as well. And,
nice.
So that should help. How about you? You had a fantastic goal, one that I can't wait to see come to fruition. You said
so we said 100 pounds by the Marquee Show, July 9th through the 11th.
So week 1, how did we do?
It was good. I had a higher being help me by giving me the stomach flu this week, so I'm probably 8 pounds in, and I'm sick of crackers and ginger ale. I'm ready for some real food, but I'll take it. It's a start. It's a
tough way to lose weight. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a tough way to do anything. So I don't wish it on anybody, but it is cold and flu season. So it's here. And Saturday, it was just not a good day. So, but made it through the bridal show. Everything was good that way. So that was that. So, got to keep hustling. It's all about the hustle. So.
Right.
And as we talked, it's bridal shows. But before we talk bridal shows, so I know we're a DJ show, but I have to chime in. Can anybody? And wow, we've got some great people already chiming in and saying hello. So let's say hello to Matt Peterson, DJ Chris, Scott. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your last name. Rasui. I apologize for butchering it. Howie, it's great to see you. DJ Brandon, Ian. If you guys are wondering who I'm saying hello to, if you go to YouTube and follow us on or watch us on YouTube, there's a live chat button right there. So I'll handle YouTube, and Brian, you want to handle the Facebook?
I'm on it. I'm on
awesome.
it.
Fantastic. So you can ask us questions. You can compliment us because we're insecure and we need the reassurance that we're not wasting an hour of your time.
Right.
And then, we're here to help you any way that we can. So, so going back to it, all over Facebook this week, I'm 48. I'm not ashamed of it. I remember doing dumb things as a kid, but I don't remember eating laundry detergent. So this whole Tide Pods thing, I don't understand it. I don't get it. If anybody has any clue other than teenagers are nuts, let us know as to why anybody would want to go in there. Epic Entertainment, Casey, you are so sexy. Okay, someone's been drinking early today. We got a hi from Montreal from Eric Jimenez. Ish is giving us a yo-yo. It's Scott Russo. It's spelled very, I don't know, very fancy, but it's Russo. So excellent. And hello from North Carolina. We've got Ottawa, Ontario in the house. A lot of people from Canada. All right. There must not be any hockey games on tonight.
I got a text from Naveen. Naveen is actually watching through Google Chrome, so he can't chat, but he can text.
Okay.
So
got it.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, again, thanks from everybody tuning in. And I've got a lot of hellos, but no one has an explanation for Tide Pod. So let's just drop it and realize that these kids are doped up. They're smoking the ganja and eating Tide Pods. Can't they just eat pizza like normal people that smoke and drink?
Something like that. Jeez.
So, all right, Scott Carroll's already jumping in. I do bridal shows with DJ and photo booth as a combo. So, and Jody Harris is in the house. Vegas is in the house. That's great. All right, so let's get right to it. As I've said in sharing this, I believe in bridal shows. I love bridal shows. And I am not only an avid exhibitor, but I'm also a bridal show producer. And so I am knee deep in bridal shows from now until the end of March. And Brian, you don't do any, right?
Zero bridal shows. We switched over a couple of years ago we did some showcases, which have become kind of popular in our industry, I'd say lately, like these private showcases. But we're in a destination market, man. So to be honest with you, people aren't driving in to see a bridal show. The local market, believe it or not, doesn't seem to do well, and they go outside of our market. So we get very low attendance. So a couple of years ago, we cut out because it was more of a looky-loo than it was a booking mechanism for us.
So how many actual marriage licenses are issued in your Florida office area? Do you have any idea?
Off the top of my head, no. But
okay.
There's a ton because of the fact that we do so much destination stuff. So
right.
I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, we do 500 shows ourselves there by our company. So a decent amount.
Got it. Very good. So I'm just curious if people want to post, I don't need a dissertation about how anything. I'm just curious with a yes or a no. Yes, you do bridal shows. No, you don't. And we can kind of gear the experience that way or the conversation that way so that we're appealing to those that are tuning in and listening to us. I'm going to give you my reasons why I think bridal shows are so effective. So, Brian, on your best day, how many email inquiries will your company get? And I'll even say a week. How many will you guys get in a week?
Let's say on our best day, 25.
Oh, that's actually pretty impressive. So, from my end, we did a bridal show 2 weeks ago. We collected 100 leads. So we collected 50 this past weekend. And for me, it's just a different medium to talk to brides, right. And so for me, if I can interact and touch, I don't mean touch a bride, but interact with the bride. I think that bridal shows are absolutely terrific for that. And especially in the DJ world where we're selling personality more so than a cake sample or whatever, I think that the more outgoing that you are, I think the more memorable you are to brides to be. So I believe in them. I've also always been a carnival barker. I love interacting with people and talking to them and schmoozing with them and kind of going from there. And I know that some people are very solid marketing people where their marketing drives kind of an inside sale mentality. And I know a lot of caterers are that way because I've watched catering people literally sit down behind their bridal show booth as though they're just waiting for them to come up to them and kind of go from there. So, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, they're a great way to meet vendors for sure. I feel like that's a big thing that doesn't get covered often in bridal show world. You think about the client only or potential clients, and I mean, what a great opportunity to have a ton of vendors in one place and be able to network there and see who's the new people at the resorts that are in your area, or the new florist, or the up and coming whatever. I think that's a underrated thing that can be huge for you if you do it correctly, you know?
I agree. I mean, my business is very networking based, and I find terrific networking just by getting to the bridal shows early, getting my booth set up early, and then just going around visiting, saying hello, shaking hands, and then following up with it was a pleasure to meet you email, and then trying to have coffee or go to lunch or just see where their head's at, and just kind of go from that point of view. So, and the funny part is, it seems like, at least in my world, a lot of people, they the minute that you express interest in them, they want to reciprocate, and almost always it's, please send me cards or whatever. Some of it gets passed out, some of it doesn't, but you know what? A stack of whatever 30 cards is going to cost me a nickel, so I'll
Right.
gamble a nickel on it.
Right. So what would you say, like, on your best show,
Yep.
how many attendees have you had, and what was your booking ratio on that? What would you say?
Our biggest show that we did was August of 2015. It was the first time that we had ever brought David Jutera in, and I have to tell you, it was pandemonium. I thought I was like it was the 80s and I was bringing Tiffany into a shopping mall again. I mean, it was absolute positive. We had people in Chicago. We had 50 couples that had driven from Milwaukee. We had like 8 couples that drove from Ohio, which is a good 6-hour drive. And yeah, it's great for our national advertisers like David's Bridal, Men's Warehouse, Joseph A. Bank, people like that as a producer we do business with. But we had, I think, 1,800 or 1,900 brides, and it was just, there had to be, when all was said and done, probably 900 brides in a very short period of time. And I mean, it was a madhouse. And I know you've seen David speak before. He is absolutely an audience favorite. He is extremely personable. The audience absolutely fell in love with him, and they loved him. And so he was a good draw. And then things kind of shifted there. He's also an expensive draw too, so we can't bring him out every single time either. So, but that was probably our biggest. How many jobs we got from it, I couldn't tell you without actually looking it up. Had I had a little, had you asked me that before, I could have pulled it up. But
Sure.
it was a good show.
I mean, like, I'm just kind of trying to figure out your cost in because that would be like an acquisition cost, right? So,
Oh, yeah.
So I'm curious I mean, maybe just as a show producer, maybe you can put that hat on for a second. And by the way, one last thing I wanted to say, I've seen the chat come up, and when I mentioned networking with vendors, I was clearly talking about before and after the show. I wasn't talking like during, like just leaving the booth, because obviously that's prime selling time. But I'm just curious, like, what the acquisition cost looks like. I mean, most shows cost that I've seen between $500 up to like $3,000 for a booth. So,
yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with the prestige of the show, because some people sell themselves as a high-end show, and some of it just has to do with the size of the actual show and how many booths they're going to have, the amount of advertising that they have spent to make that happen, so that they can charge accordingly. I did a 2-day bridal show 2 weeks ago with an out-of-state producer. We had nice traffic. They told us they were going to have over 1,800 brides. in talking with the wedding magazines, 2 different wedding magazines only passed out 500 magazines, and they passed them out to everybody. So I'm going to guess there were probably 300 brides there. The list they gave us had 1,815 brides. So again, I'm a big fan of follow up, hustle until they tell me to go away. And I do that in a polite way. But, to me, it's, bridal shows are kind of like joining a gym, or so I've heard since I'm not in a gym. But the reality is, getting there that day is only part of it.
Right.
You have to go in, and kill it. And then you have to keep following up. And that's really about it. I mean, it's just a constant, but I tell people all the time, if I could walk 100 brides through your door, you'd absolutely, want to do what have you. However, it's no different at a bridal show. If I'm
Right.
putting 100 brides in front of you, that's now up to you to figure out how to maximize that.
But I guess on ROI is kind of what I'm looking for here, to see with any kind of marketing, you always want to see what your return on investment is. And, even with the wedding wire saying, hey, I'll send you're getting 500 views or whatever in a month, it's on you to kind of close. I mean, you're kind of looking at that same type of thing.
Well, realize whether it's a bridal show, whether it's a wedding magazine, whether it's a link on a website, anywhere, local, national, they're just sending you traffic.
Right.
Okay. They're putting, if Wedding Wire or the Knot do their job and they send people to you and your website sucks, that's on you.
Understandable. Okay?
Yeah. And a lot of people go, oh, well, I'll pay for, anything I book, or I'll pay for qualified leads. No, it doesn't work that way. They're putting traffic through your door, and then it's your job to finesse it. So,
right.
Let's see. I've got a whole bunch of comments on YouTube. So let's take a look here. Scrolling up because we have a lot of them. Okay, Epic Entertainment. They're also a destination wedding. Brian Kelm does not do bridal shows. Matt Peterson does. Let's see. Rico Falsetto does the smaller ones. He says the big ones just don't pay off for him. And I'm going to comment on that. Typically, people are more comfortable with the smaller ones because they say I get to spend more quality time with each bride. But if you're doing a big show and there's going to be a lot of brides, you just need to bring more staffing with, is really what it comes down to.
Right.
So there's no question that the smaller ones are intimate and it's a different vibe. But, I find that I can have the same conversation, big show or small show, with a wedding, but with a bride to be or wedding couple. Scott Carroll does 3 or more a year. Ian, I do 4. And now I'll never do one again. Thankfully, I did not have to pay to do them. Okay. Well, Ian, I'd love to know more about that. Scott Russo says, what do you do to collect the leads? I'm old school. I use a clipboard and a pre-printed registration form, and then I key it into the computer. In fact, I've got one right here because I just got done keying a bunch of leads in, and it's wait, I've got to flip the camera on. So it is pretty darn simple. Anybody that wants a copy of it can shoot me a Facebook and I'll shoot you the PDF of it. I know some people are using iPads. My problem with that is if the iPad connection goes dead, then you're trapped. So there's that. Let's see. Scott Carroll, small ones are the best. I totally understand that theory. Last year last one we did last year was less than 10. I don't know if that means 10 brides or 10 shows. Scott Carroll says he can get 3 or more bookings at each one. Let's see. Matt Peterson, small ones are the best if they get a good amount of brides. So I guess what he's saying is the small number of vendors, but a good amount of brides. And I get that from a vendor point of view. But if you're a bride and there's a ton of brides and there's not enough things to do or vendors to talk about, they're going to get very bored and feel that it was a waste of time. And then that's also a reflection on you. Tori Myers, 10 contacts, no bookings. Again, I don't know the situation, but if I've got 10 brides in front of me, I got to believe that I can at least book 2 of them. 80 brides are more at the small one. 80 brides are more at the small ones. I'm not sure what that means exactly. Nitro only 10, that's tough. We just got finished up with and got 250 leads. That's awesome. Nitro Music. Networking should be done before the shows. Sights and Sounds, Jody. I think bridal shows can be great for public relations for a company or brand, but vendors prefer not to network, but to sell the couples. I agree with that. That's a good time for the fashion show or get there early, super early.
Right.
Following up after a big show is a plus. I totally agree. To be honest, only 40 or so showed up. It was the first year. Again, the big trick is when you're considering a bridal show is just to ask where a bride's going to find them, and then look and see if you're a single or if you're an engaged 27-year-old woman, where are you? What radio stations are you listening to? What TV channels are you watching? Are you on Facebook, Instagram? Are they there? So Jody Rhodes, David Deter is a god, wedding couples, particularly brides. Great marketing, Casey. Thank you, Jody. Get involved in the first year is tough, but it can be future beneficial. I pay no more than $300 for a table with power. Okay. I'm interested in what you did to get the leads. We already talked about that. Is there a limit per category for vendors? Typically for us, it's about 10%. Venues tend to be more venues, DJs, and photographers tend to be the most popular. And again, venues to me are it's a subdirectory altogether, because you can have a raw space warehouse venue, a country club, and a traditional banquet hall, and one bride's not going to like, the other two. So it's a little bit different than photography or DJ. Eric is leaving to watch us tomorrow. Holy cow, I am blown away by the amount of people that are on here. Tech Leak, you cannot use the bridal list for email. It would be spam under the current law. They have to sign up at your booth. That is true. That actually is true, but the reality is if you check your email every single day, the reality is people are loading leads and lists into databases. The biggest thing there is I would strongly recommend for your company that you use a third-party emailing system such as a Constant Contact,
MailChimp,
a Vertical Response, MailChimp, because they can absolutely opt out anytime they want to. Once they're out, they're out. So, and then, you know what, I think, oh no, good God, this is fantastic. I am feeling the love big time. Epic Entertainment, we do about 6 to 7 a year. We staff our booths differently depending on the show, but we always book several on the spot. That's one thing I have to say I don't do. I've never in 25 years had anyone book me on the spot. I have a photo booth vendor that's goal is to get 8 of their bridal show booths, 8 of their photo booths booked at every single event, and that's their goal. And 99% of the times they do it. They have their phone with a squared chip or card reader, and they usually get 8 at every one. So we found that the free to enter shows are the worst, regardless of size of the show. Even shows that just charge $1 have a way better quality brides and grooms. You know what? I think that depends on market to market. And here in Chicago, I would absolutely love to charge even $2 and donate all of the money to our annual toy drive. But the reality is that one of my competitors here in the bridal show producing world, they do 29 shows a year, and their tickets are complimentary. So I just can't make it happen. DJ Chris says, I'd book you on the spot. Now, I don't know if that's me or you, Brian. I'm going to go with you. So I'm going to go with that. Ish Lucero, I'm a Hispanic DJ as well, but I don't think that's a plus at these shows. No Latinos will most likely not show up there. You know what? That's a good point. I don't see a lot of Latino brides at our shows. I see some, typically, though, second generation, not so much first. So that is a good point. I guess I've never really noticed that before. So But again, if you're doing weddings for non-Latinos, again, there's certainly plenty of people there. So
I'm getting a couple questions on the Facebook, so let me ask a few
awesome.
of these.
Talk to us.
How
Yep.
are you connecting with leads? Email, phone, or text? This is coming from CJ Westcott. And how often are you reaching out if they have not responded? Which, I mean, my rule is 3. We do 3 follow-ups. I mean, I can only speak to how I would want to be followed up. If getting the constant like pings, I just get frustrated, and then eventually I'll unsubscribe if I keep getting them. But I feel like if I give people 3 follow-ups, and and on the last follow-up, it usually says something along the lines of, hey, it appears you're not interested, or something along those lines, a lot more eloquent than that, but along those lines. And so we're going to assume you've gone in a different direction, and then I just move on, because it's just for me, seems like it's a waste at that point.
I keep going until they tell me to go away.
Really?
And here's the reason. I can go through the leads this past weekend and say, here's one that's getting married in 2020. Here's one getting married in 2019. Here's one getting married in 2018 that has a date and a banquet facility. So they're just at different stages. Just because you want to sell them today doesn't mean that they're ready for you.
Right.
So for me, I just keep staying, and I'm polite. It's not like I'm emailing them every single solitary day, but
Right.
until they tell me that they're off the market,
Right.
then that's it. And I get people all the time that say they get emails from us, and I jokingly say, I'm not spamming you. And they're going, well, a little bit, but we know who you are because of it. And so it works.
Do you feel like you're getting, like, I mean, it's hard to probably quantify this, but at the ones that you follow up beyond 3, are you getting those people that, like, a ton of those that book, or are you talking like 1 or 2 that might come back after the fact?
Well, let me clarify. We have 2 different systems for doing things. We use vertical response, which is like a MailChimp or Constant Contact, and that's what we call our branding database. And so maybe once a week we have a series of like 4 or 5 different rotating emails that go out where we're branding ourselves to the brides and to be that that we get through a variety of sources to let them know that we exist and that we're there for them. And to me, it's very similar to like Bed Bath and Beyond choosing to send you a postcard hoping that this is the week your blender died, or this is the week that you tore your bad spread, or it's just time for an upgrade. When they meet with us, or when I should say when they interact with us, then I use DJ Event Planner, and so I put them in there.
Right.
And then we just keep politely, and the big trick is politely. We're not emailing them at 5 o'clock in the morning.
No, yeah.
Calling them late night. But usually it's just a very pleasant, like, hi, it's Casey with Keith Christopher, just checking to see how the wedding's coming.
Right.
We love DJing for amazing couples, and would love to talk to you about being a part of your day. And it's short and it's sweet and it's to the point. But again, my biggest thing is just because they're not ready for you doesn't mean they won't hire you. It's just not the right time.
Right. What if we were to give some best practices, like some tips on some things that you've seen that's worked really well? I have one I can think of that I've done in the past. Last year or actually it's been 2 years now. We did a military show, because in our market we have a lot of we have a huge military base in our Florida market, and so we did a military show. And one of the biggest things that we did that worked really well, we set up a DJ station, and we basically had a Instagram board that we said, listen, if you take a picture of yourself scratching and you have the most likes, and you hashtag whatever, our name plus the show or whatever we came up with, the one that has the most likes by the end of the day will give you some type of upgrade, whether that's a gobo light or lighting, some kind of effects or something along those lines. And that generated a ton of response. I was surprised how well that did. But the cool thing is we made it an upgrade. So it wasn't like we were giving away the farm with a DJ service or anything like that. And the amount of traction that got for us was pretty big. Have you seen anything like that? That's maybe not that specific example, but what have you seen that's worked really well?
We do something similar. We bring out a shop vac, and then we have the bride hold it up, and they have to post saying, I want to hire a DJ that doesn't suck. And that's no. Years ago we did something. I had found a bakery that did little tiny 1 pound loaves of bread, and they would give them to us. They were all fresh baked. I mean, we'd even make up and they were warm. And we would bring them, and they took up the whole damn truck.
Wow.
We brought them in though, and we would pile them onto our tables. We had no DJ equipment. We just had our company backdrop, and I had stickers made with our logo on it at the time, and it said, "Our brides think we're the best thing since sliced bread." And we handed out these little, very artesian, cool little loaves of bread.
Yeah.
And so when we did the follow up, of course, they'd be like, "I'm sorry, who are you?" "We're the DJs that gave you a loaf of bread." They're like, "Oh yeah, we had that with toast the next morning. That stuff was great."
Wow.
And it just opened up communication that people were like, "Oh," and it made us stick out, and it kind of went from there. So whatever you do, I guess the peace of mind would be to figure out a way to stick out,
Right. Right.
And I'll tell you, especially in today's Amazon orientated world, you need to follow up quickly. You need to be on top of it. You need to show that no one's going to handle their day like you can. And I think part of that starts with service. And again, we're in the immediately need it now, want it now. And again, going back to this week's news, I don't know if you saw, but the Walmart Corporation is shutting down like 250 Sam's Clubs.
Yeah, I saw that.
But they're keeping the property as warehousing for their online division, because they're going to be going head to head. They want to go head to head with Amazon.
Right.
So apparently the Walton family is just not happy with the fact that the guy who owns Steve, is it Bezos?
No, Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos, my mistake. Apparently him being the richest person in the world now has them bothered or something. And so they need the warehouse space, and they're going to be reusing that space for that. So that's
right.
We've got all kinds of, we've got DJ Yeast Roll, or Jimmy Spin just wrote, "We rise to the occasion," apparently with my bread idea. That would be giving dough out though. If it's a loaf of bread, I think they've already done it.
Right. I got another question here. What do you think about discounts at bridal shows? What are your thoughts?
You know what? I personally don't. And here's the reason for it. Again, you're hoping that bride is ready to book you now.
Right.
And if they're ready to book you now, why offer them a discount?
Right.
It seems like everybody wants to do this big volume. At that show that I told you about, I went over and said hello to a DJ acquaintance, and he had a live singer singing. Guy sounded great. He was like Justin Timberlake, Michael Bublé, covered a lot of fun poppy type of stuff. Would be fun for cocktail hour, but it was him, the singer. The singer would sing for 2 hours, cocktail and dinner hour. Then the DJ with 12 uplights and dance floor lighting for $1,200. And I'm like, dude, $1,200. And he goes, "I'm only doing it till the end of January to try and fill up my empty dates for 18.
Right.
And so at least he had a plan, but I'd rather stand out on quality than price.
Right.
And so that's, that's just me. I'm also not trying to book 18, 20 guys like some other companies are. And I don't, I don't want to make this about price. I don't judge. What you charge is your business.
Right.
And I hope that you're doing the math to be profitable and go from there. So, because I've had an overflowing bank account, and I've had a bank account that is screaming at me to feed it. So
sure,
you got it.
Naveen is asking about the love letters. That's been a thing that's been kind of popular lately, but he's saying that he doesn't know when to use them and when not to, because he gets confused as a decor company. And he's asking specifically you, what are your thoughts about that?
But they're decor.
Right.
They're I mean, so if you have them, I'd put them in front of a DJ booth with speakers on each side so that you can let them know. But the question being, Naveen, is, would you go and set those up at a wedding reception outside of a wedding that your DJs are performing at?
Mm-hmm.
If the answer is yes, then you just got, you dipped your toe into the decor world, which is great. And if not, then then use it as a prop. We were looking at building ones that were 5 feet tall that I wanted to use as the backdrop of our stage. And the Christmas holidays just got away from me, and now we're knee deep in it. So
Right.
so that's going to have to be the someday project.
Yeah. Yeah. Any questions on your side?
Let's see. Sean Lloyd, lots of comments. Happy birthday to Ron Turner, whoever that might be. Thanks, Ian. What are love letters at a show? What he's speaking about is the large marquee letters. Some people have them that say I do. Some have them that say Mr. and Mrs.
Right.
Some have them that say LOVE is the most popular. So that's what those are. Epic Entertainment, we don't offer show discounts. Gig Pigs, discounting to fill the trough by first name, last name. Okay, first name, last name. I'd prefer that you tell us who you are. And again, I'm not here to talk about price. Two big ones in Rick Falsetto. There are two big ones in my market, and I find they're way overpriced. $1,100 for a 10 by 10, plus $120 for power per day and $18 for parking. Brides pay $20 admission. Now, here's the problem, Rico Falsetto. You've told me all of the expenses, but you didn't tell me the most important thing. How many brides does it bring through the door? And I use this all the time. A Super Bowl commercial. We're what, 3 weeks away from the Super Bowl, Brian?
Yep.
Super Bowl commercials are $2 million. I did the math once for a presentation, and based on the viewership of the Super Bowl, your cost per television came out to 4 cents. 4 cents. Okay. Now, if you have a mainstream product or service that you can sell to all of America, is it worth it? I mean, the reality is, if you have a product that you can put 2 million, 3 million, 4 million eyeballs on, and it's going to cost you 4 cents, it isn't about what it cost, it's about what it made you. And so, Rico, the big thing here is I acknowledge that it costs money to make money, and I know what it's like to put that bridal show booth on the credit card and hope that you're going to get your deposits back by the time that statement's due. But you really, really have to look at the end game, which is how much you're going to be booking, or what the possibility is to book. Because even if you get a free bridal show from a venue that's doing that you're the in-house DJ at or what have you, and you're there for the afternoon, if 4 brides come through and none of them need a DJ,
Right.
and you're there to support the venue, all you did was waste your time. So, time to me is the most important commodity. And the reality too is bridal shows also aren't what they used to be. We're in the, and I say this, we're in the lowest number of brides. We're the lowest marriage rate that we've been in this country in the last 100 years. So that's really what it comes down to. So if you're taking less phone calls, if you are getting fewer inquiries, the reality is this: there are fewer brides and there's far more competition. So if you're not at that bridal show, you better believe one of your competitors are. And brides and grooms are like fruits and vegetables. They're going to get consumed up. They're just going to get eaten up. And that's the way that it is. And you have to decide whether or not you want them on your plate or you want them on somebody else's.
This is a good question from Jody. And it's probably something I can help answer. Destination wedding question. If you are a DJ in a destination city like Miami, Florida, or Las Vegas, your thoughts on us traveling to our top booking city and doing a show in that city to promote our city? So traveling to Southern California. So our Florida market, we get a ton of drive-through destination people from
Right.
Nashville, Dallas. I mean, you name it. And we've actually tried this a few times on our own. It did not return well for us. I will say, though, we did partner with a couple of other vendors and did it as a joint expense. Got a bigger booth because we did it with a venue. We did it with a cake person. And that actually did pay for itself because we had 4 or 5 big representations. But I'll be honest, it wasn't enough to make the other folks, everybody gained from it. So for me, we haven't done it anymore. We've spent more money on relationship building than we have the bridal show market.
And if we look at the market in general, the reality is this: only 1% of the general public, and now it's less than 1%, is engaged to be married at any given time.
Mm.
Now you want to get a segmented part of less than 1%.
Right.
I mean, unless there is some sort of way, and I wouldn't even know that maybe they've contacted the, your convention and visitors bureau or something. I don't even know how you would reach out and find those people to invite them or to get them. I just think that you're looking for a needle in a haystack.
Right.
But at least, you know what, Jody, I give you credit. You're thinking outside the box.
Right.
You're not just letting it happen to you. You're trying to make it happen, which is great.
Right. So, what about like size of booth? Do you have like a, what have you seen work best? I mean, since we're talking to DJs and photo booth people, what has been the best layout? What's been the best sizing? Any recommendations?
You know what? I think sizing really depends on how much stuff you're putting in it. Okay. I'll tell you this, what I think is a waste is a lot of DJs choose to put furniture in their booth.
Right.
And unlike a traditional like 3-day show like NAMM or LDI or something where you're sitting down with a buyer who's going to be buying, DJ products for the year for Guitar Center or what have you, and they're there to buy. Bridal shows are informational, and as a result of that, I think that they're looking for information, some small chit chat. Some of it's a rite of passage for a fun afternoon.
Right.
They're there to get ideas, and so I see furniture, and I just think it's a complete waste of space.
Right.
The other thing is people that do too much video. Again, as great as you've made your video, most people are going to look up and then they're going to be gone. And that's just the way that it is. It's that 11-second elevator speech where they're either going to remember you and trust you with their actual email address or what have you.
Right.
But, again, I think it has to do with the amount of stuff you're putting in it,
Right.
and kind of going from there. And just two, if you own 30 movers, you don't have to put 30 movers in your booth.
No.
Especially because people aren't going to remember it. The other DJs may go, oh my God, Brian's got 30 movers, but who cares? You're not selling to them. So,
right.
So that's all.
Interesting.
DJ Chris, Casey, I find myself at home with the twins pretty much all day, every day. If you need some nice letters built or anything, let me know. It will give me something to do between naps and feedings. Okay. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Let's see. Jody's responding to Epic. I can't tell you guys how grateful I am, and I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of Brian. This interaction is terrific.
Yeah.
I mean, I really feel like we're almost on the radio taking calls like crazy, and it's it feels great, and I have one goal. I don't know about you, Brian. I just want to have more viewers and more interaction than Mike Walter and Joe Buck. Okay. Because neither one of them know how to talk. You got Mike with the Jersey accent, and then, he's well-spoken compared to Joe Bunn and Hillbilly Radio. No, I'm just kidding. These guys are great guys. And again, I'm encouraging you to definitely tune in. We just got a laugh out loud from John Young, which I think was a nice way of saying don't knock my other shows. So
what do you think is a good ratio of marketing expenditures for bridal shows as far as like your overall budget? If you got to say, advertising wise, where would you put that? Do you think it should be?
I don't think company wide you should be spending honestly more than like 70% on your overall budget.
70%.
No, 7.
Oh, 7. Okay.
So
Wow.
No. So if you're going to do $100,000 a year, you've got $7,000 to spend.
Right.
And you know what? Let's just even say that's $100,000. So let's say it's $1,000 for a DJ, just for easy math. So you're looking at booking 100 shows.
Right.
And if a bridal show is $500 to $1,000, you could do a lot of damage that way. I mean,
sure.
You really could spread out your money throughout the course of the year and go from there.
So with your DJ company that you own,
yep.
I mean, I guess it's not a fair question because you
no, but I'll go with the one that I used to own that we didn't, the bridal show business wasn't part of our business, we probably did about 15 bridal shows a year with one company. And we did them based on geography of where they were held in conjunction to our office. And they're still the biggest game in the Chicagoland area.
Hmm.
I mean, they're definitely the big gun, and I'm the smaller gun because
Right.
they're doing 28 shows and I'm doing 15. But you know, again, I believe in them, and I
Sure.
think that, you know, when you're selling personality, being out in front is the way of doing it. And then part of it is also following up, and
Right.
you know, and again, back in the day, we used to do more postcards and kind of go from there. So
It's interesting. Yeah, so in our Florida market, we're kind of lucky because of the fact that we are kind of like the high priced, fish out there. And
okay,
so, we're not necessarily going to be able to grab those folks looking for deals. And that has been, at least in that market, and actually our SoCal market too, it's been very interesting to see that it's every question was when we were doing them, what kind of deal do you have going on today? They were basically trying to get us to go lower than the guy. Well, hey, so and so's doing
you
that
know what
too.
though, I'm going to disagree with you, and here's why. Okay, I think what it comes down to is when there are 100 vendors at a bridal show, or 50 or 30.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that you're vendor number 7. If the first 6 have said, we've got a show special, and that's
Right.
what they're getting from the banquet hall, and we have a show special, and that's what they're getting from the bakery, and we've got a show special. If you get 4 groomsmen to buy tuxes, your tux is free. By the time they get to number 7, it's only natural they're saying, so what's your show special?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I don't think that they're looking for it. I think they've become trained to expect it,
Right.
not because, they're these terrible, low end brides that, bridal shows are all about people wanting free stuff.
Correct.
It's because other vendors have said, here's my deal, here's my deal, here's my deal, here's my deal, here's my deal. So when you're not, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
But even being high end, again, you'll see Mercedes at the auto show right next to Kia. And it's just a matter of
brand recognition.
But it's also like, listen, not every customer is going to want a Kia. Not every customer is going to want a Mercedes.
Right.
So, if you're on the high end, you need to niche out, knowing that I'm going to do this bridal show. There's going to be 500 brides there, and I'm looking for 20 good ones.
Right.
And for you, that could be based on the zip code that they live in,
right,
based on you collecting their information. It could be also where their wedding reception is being held at, which means that if they're what I call an A property, they might be an A bride. So,
so is your goal then at these shows to get the appointment? Is that what you would say?
I think that everybody should be asking for the appointment. So
more so than closing the sale. Obviously, if you can close it, you can. But
here's the thing. I think that I would be leery of a bride that wants to book a wedding vendor right there. Now, not to be disrespectful to any photo booth people watching us, but unless you're doing something custom, I think the average person thinks a photo booth is a commodity. And it doesn't mean that you don't do really cool stuff, or that the DSLR camera in your booth isn't superior to those that are using a webcam or whatever. And we can get into that debate. I really don't want to, but certain things I just believe are going to be good enough. And so I think that certain things like photo booths, certain things like, I don't even know, perhaps limousines, because again, I think some people view them as commodities. If they can save money and it's something they want, they're going to do it. But ultimately for me is I want to set the appointment for them to come in and sit down and learn more about me. Because in my world, I'd love to sell them not just DJs, but all of my extra bells and whistles. And I also own 2 other companies. So if I can get them early enough in the process, I can walk them over to my photography division or my floral decor division. So
got it.
So that's all. So just different idea. But I think everybody should be going for the appointment, because especially if you've got somebody like me asking for the appointment and you're not, because you're cool DJ Brian B and everybody loves me.
Yeah.
If I'm just nice, aggressive KC, my goal is to take them out of the market. So if I can set an appointment there, have them come in and talk to me this week, and they think I'm cool and I'm nice, and I can show them that I'm going to do a wonderful job.
Right.
I don't even want to know. Let's say that you're even better than me, because
Right.
you are. You're DJ Brian B, and I'm not messing. This guy's the bomb, everybody. But the reality is, it doesn't matter if you're better.
Right.
All that matters is that I signed the contract, and that's
Right.
it. So, and that's really the way that we did it with my other company. That's the way we do it now. I had one DJ that told another bridal show promoter they would never do any show that we were exhibiting in, because every show they'd ever exhibited against us at, they just lost. They thought it was rigged.
Wow. That the clients would all just come to your booth and end up booking. Wow.
But the thing about it was, again, and this is like the 90s and 2000s where people did a lot of business on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I had like 4 people on the phones right after a show, all my DJs, and they were trying to book themselves, and they all pounded it. And, I taught them the beauty of forget about the no's, just worry about the yeses. And and that was it. So
what's the best, this is from Jody, what's the best DJ booth you've seen at a show?
I don't know if I have a best, because it could also be about the interaction in there. I've seen people dancing and interacting, and it's been cool, and some of it's been bad. But I'll go to the worst, and here's the worst. The worst is it doesn't even have to be elaborate. Okay. The worst is when you have a snarl on your face, you're sitting down behind a table. Okay. You're just not engaged. You look like, you just don't want to be there.
Right.
And if you don't want to be there, invest your money somewhere else.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gave seminars years ago on this, and I knew that Randy Bartlett was going to be in the audience, and I don't know how many people know Randy Bartlett, but he's a well-known DJ in the DJ conference world. And I said, Randy Bartlett should not do bridal shows, because Randy loves customers that have been referred to him, that have seen him, and he's just in the zone with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't love strangers. And it's kind of like you go into a restaurant, your kids can be tearing up the place and you love them because you're their kids. If it's somebody else's kids, you want them under control, and like, that's that. And I think that a lot of times people seem to lose sight of that. There's nothing better than that warm lead, but when you're at a bridal show, you need to step out and put the smile on and be the schmoozer, and you can't expect them to come up to you, you know? So that's all.
When we did our booth, we really found success with having it be an open concept.
Oh, absolutely.
Rather than the table in the front and you feel like you're just closed off, and it just allows more interaction.
The table's a barrier. So
absolutely.
Unless you're like, now a table is proper if you have like wedding albums, because you can be behind it and you can have them up on easels, and then you can be happily flipping them through. If you're a wedding magazine, having the table out in front makes a lot of sense because it's easy access for that. But the worst, and I see this primarily in the catering world, is I see catering sales managers just sitting down behind the table like they're holding court.
Right.
And it is just so totally unapproachable. And kind of go from there. DJ Chris is saying, what are your thoughts on having music playing in a booth? You know what? Again, I've seen DJs that are mixing and spinning and scratching, and some people think it's great. Some people think it's terrible. So it's kind of hard to say. We've got about 5 minutes before we're done, and John kicks us off the air. So let's kind of segue into some other industry stuff. And by no means, guys, I'm an open book. So you can find me on Facebook, and I'll answer any of your questions, address any of your concerns, and you can track me down, and I'm happy to help you with anything, or send you stuff, or show you pictures of our booth, or anything that I can
resources.
But so tell everybody, where are you headed in April? This is pretty exciting. We should have covered this in the beginning.
Oh yeah. I got asked to be a keynote speaker over in Europe, UK, with the Pro Mobile conference. So for 2 days, we'll be over there April 15th and 16th, I believe. So
very cool.
Should be good. And,
I've spoken for Eddie in the past as well, like in 2007, maybe.
yeah,
Somewhere a long time ago. So
nice. Well,
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. I feel honored that he even asked me, and to be able to. It actually works out well because I actually have a wedding in Europe the following week, so I'm just gonna try to make some time out there to make other connections as well, and just stay the week.
fantastic.
And kind of go visit around. So yeah,
And
looking forward to that.
so let's see. And then end of April, you're also speaking at Midwest DJs Live in beautiful Milwaukee.
Yeah, quite.
So
Actually, it's funny. So I'm doing 3 shows in Europe that over that 2-week span, and the
Okay.
last one's this like luxury wedding show that's in Italy, and I'm literally leaving straight from there and going to Milwaukee, which
yeah, baby.
quite the difference. And but it'll be fun. I've actually never been to Midwest DJs Live. Have you? Have you gone to that show?
I've been a couple of times. It's only it's literally about an hour and 20-minute ride from my house.
Nice.
So there's that. And Milwaukee's a nice it's a nice little town, man. You can get some cheese curds there. And if you guys know what cheese curds are, you can Google it, but they're delish. And it's a Miller town. So
Yeah.
the home of Miller Lite. And
Yeah.
it's a Usinger bratwurst town as well.
Okay.
But I definitely have a spot for us to have dinner at the 5:00 steakhouse. We'll go see my boy Stelios. And
Okay.
he's always, it's like when they do the food channels top 5 or top 10 best steaks in the country,
Right.
his restaurant's always on there, and it's super cool. I took there were like 9 of us that went there last year.
Wow.
And everybody was like, this is by far the best steak I've ever had. So
Yeah.
Stelios and his family, they're awesome people. So
Well, next week is NAM. Are you doing NAM at all? You going to LA?
I am not actually. Maybe if John actually comes back in and says hello to us, he'll tell you, because I think John might be going. I know he's gone in the past to check out all the new bells and whistles. I've been to NAM in the past, long time ago, like 2003, 2004.
Okay.
I actually, true story, very true story. I got to pee next to Eddie Van Halen. So I ran into the men's room and taken a whiz, and you kind of took left and look right, and holy cow, there's Eddie Van Halen.
Wow.
So I told him I'd shake your hand, but probably not the best place for it.
Right.
And Gene Simmons kind of molested a friend of mine.
Oh, geez.
It was kind of funny. He didn't really, but he was signing an autograph for somebody with a Sharpie marker, didn't know who had given it to him.
Right.
And he wound up taking the marker and putting it between a female friend of mine's breasts. And the funny part about it is she didn't know who he was. And so she goes, I kind of feel like I just got groped by my uncle. Kind of walked away, and I thought I was going to pee my pants. So, but
well, typically NAM's the time where they'll release some new products. So I'm curious to see if there's going to be anything out there. Usually, when I worked at Pioneer, that was a big release date for us, was NAM. So I'm curious to see if they've got anything new coming out.
It's a cool show,
It is,
and you realize how small the DJ industry is when you're there, because
no doubt.
Yeah, we're like the tail. There's there's the cow that's enormous, and the DJ end of it's the tail. So
right.
I think John just flashed the DJ logo sign. So I don't know if we're done.
Well, we're getting there. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
Yep.
So, John's. Does everyone see you, or do we just see you now?
No, everyone. I just popped on the screen.
So this is John Young, everybody. I'm sure everybody knows John. Are you going to NAMM, John?
Yep, we'll be going down there. Lori and I leave next Wednesday, so we're going to start our coverage actually Wednesday afternoon, because we're going to be hitting some of the pre-NAMM releases, because some of the companies have private releases on Wednesday and Wednesday night. So it'll be a busy 3 days for us, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Very cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Good deal.
Time. And there's we've already gotten a lot of press releases for some of the products and such. As you were saying, Brian, this is the release time for many of the bigger companies, Pioneer being one. So we have all of this information that is over, and some is embargoed until next Monday, some is embargoed until next Wednesday, some is embargoed until next Thursday.
Wow.
So
at least they got their schedule.
They've got their schedule. And I basically ignore their schedules, because if I see it when I get to NAMM, if it's visible, it's going live somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
That's my. I won't
Got to
leak
get the scoop, right?
Yeah, I
Gotta
won't
be
leak the
first one.
emails, but that'll. Once we get there, if they're carrying it in a hallway and I can get it on camera, it's going to go live.
Very cool. Excellent.
Right.
So,
Awesome. Well,
and
thanks for
go
tuning
ahead,
in,
sir.
everybody.
Yeah, you
I
guys
mean,
had
Yeah.
some
we got some
great numbers
interaction.
tonight.
It was awesome. The questions were great. The interaction was great, and I hope that every week Brian and I live up to your expectations. And the way that you can help us, of course, is to let your DJ colleagues know that we are here to ramble for an hour every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So
And if you have a topic in mind, we'd love to try to help you. So if there's anything
Right.
you guys want to post here on the threads, let us know and we'll try to cover it.
And then 2 weeks just before Super Bowl, we'll have our DJ of the month, our mobile of the month. So again, we've had lots of interaction, but no one has said pick me. So if you think that you are worthy of people to know about you and you want to share some great business oriented information, please let Brian or myself know. So that was that. So thanks for tuning in. And Brian, I will talk to you soon.
Sounds good, bud.
All right. Good night, everybody.